Hey, what is going on, everyone? I hope you all are having a phenomenal Sunday or a phenomenal day, whatever day you happen to come across this video. Today, I just wanted to really have a quick little chat about tipping. I was recently looking at a CNN business article that is just talking about how tipping is out of control. And it's one of those things I definitely been meaning to get on here and talk about for a minute. I just haven't had a chance, just haven't necessarily had the energy to get on here and talk about tipping. So I think the issue now with a lot of people as far as tipping is concerned is that people don't necessarily know when they're supposed to tip. There are options to tip for every single transaction, it seems like, tip jars, or, when you run your credit card at certain business establishments, there's an option to tip 10%, 15%, 20%, or other, or no tip at all. I know in the article it talks about how consumers or customers are put in these precarious situations where you have the employee who is looking over your shoulders to see what you do at checkout. You know, people just don't know what to do. People don't want to hurt the feelings of these employees, or they don't want to, appear to be cheap or anything like that. So they don't know what to do. I remember, well, let me preface everything I'm gonna say by basically talking about my beliefs in tipping. I grew up in a household where we didn't have much money, and we were basically universal $2 tippers. I don't care if all five of us, all four of us went out to eat, and whether the service was outstanding or subpar, they were getting a $2 tip. And I know in my adulthood, I have the belief, and we were always been told, like, don't go out to eat if you don't have money to tip the server. And I somewhat agree with that. Actually, I do agree with that. I know people who go out to eat and they piss off the servers on purpose so they can claim that they didn't have good service, and they feel justified by leaving no tip or a very small tip. Me, I go out, I calculate the whole tip into my bill ahead of time. Like, I know if I have bad service or if I have subpar service, I'm still gonna tip a minimum of 15, 20%. Just because I just calculate that. I know that's how they get paid. If I have great service, I'm gonna give anywhere from 25 to 100%. It really just depends. Like, I know when I'm going out, I value that time that I have out to eat. I look at it like time away from my home, time in another space to spend time with the people that I love, the people who bring me happiness. So I think it is well worth, whatever I have to pay. So if my bill is $100 and I feel like tipping $50, then cool. Matter of fact, I have been in situations before where somebody has had to calm me down from tipping too much, like, because I've tipped 100% before. $10 bill, $10 tip, $15 bill, $15 tip, $10 bill, $8 tip, or whatever. I enjoy going out and blessing somebody else during their day. I think the rub is now a lot of times people are expecting tips in establishments where they are not making $2.13 an hour, and where they are not waiting on you. They're not taking your order, and they're not bringing your food. They're not refilling your drinks. It is a to-go spot where they might make your sandwich, but they're making $9, $10 an hour as opposed to the minimum wage that servers make. So it is getting out of hand is what the argument is. And I can definitely see that. Like, I see tip jars and tip options for almost every place you go to, and again, I'm a very, very, very generous tipper. Very, very generous tipper. Like I said, I'm probably in the top 5% of tippers if I had to take a guess. Of course, I'm taking out those people who probably, tip, you know, thousands of dollars on $100 bill because they're billionaires or millionaires or whatever that may be. I'm a very generous tipper, and I think it's gotten out of hand as well. So a lot of that article resonated with me. Yeah, I remember dropping my dog off and I was trying to get pricing done for her boarding. She was gonna be boarded for about I believe 2 or 3 nights, and I asked them how much would it be to groom her, and they gave me the price. I never agreed to getting her groomed as well, but the total price was gonna be about, I think, like $200 for everything, the grooming and the boarding and everything else that came along with it. So I had the cash for that. I took $200 with me, and come to find out, when I got there to pay, I found out that they added in the grooming and everything that I didn't agree to, because I thought it was gonna be like around $200 without the grooming. But then with the grooming, which they added to it without getting final consent from me, with the grooming, it was like $220 or $225 or something. And then it also had an option to add like 15, 20, or 25% tip on top of that. And I'm already frustrated because they added the service that I never really confirmed for them to put on. I couldn't pay cash now because I didn't have enough cash. I had to put it on my credit card, and they were asking me for a tip. So I remember at the time, I was like kind of shell shocked. Like, I felt like I was put on the spot, and I just hit decline. Like I didn't give a tip because I was still paying way more than I thought I was going to pay in the first place. I felt bad, but I'm like I get it. Shoot, I know y'all work hard on a daily basis, but tips should be like 100% optional. Like, people shouldn't be made to, or they shouldn't be put in those positions to where they have to feel like they must tip. Matter of fact, I went to Pie 5 Pizza the other day, and had an option. I had a $5 pizza, and had an option on there, 10, 15, 20%. And you're like, oh, the cashier's right here looking at you. It's like, what do I do? So I just hit 15% or whatever, I think it was like a 75-cent tip, but still, it's like, I think, there are more and more places that are expecting tips, and it feels like the customers who have always subsidized the pay or the wages of servers, and we have, some people have reluctantly done it, but people like me, I've understood, like, it just comes with the territory. So we're subsidizing their wages, and now it's like you're expected to subsidize the wages of, people who don't make $2.13 an hour. They might make $15 an hour. And I get it, generously. Like I said, I tip a lot. Takeout, I still tip, even though people often say, oh, if you can't afford to eat out, take your food out. Well, I still tip, but I don't tip the same amount as, when I have a server who is taking my order, getting my refills, bring my food out, and taking care of me like that. So I understand it's frustrating. Like, people really don't know who to tip anymore. They don't know how much to tip anymore, because it seems like tipping is an option for everyone. And then if you tip the person making $15 an hour, if you tip them the same amount as somebody who is making $2 an hour and who is continuously serving you throughout your, time at their business, then, that's interesting, bellhops and people like that, I tip them as well. Some people don't. I understand the protocol for tipping people, but even I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't know anymore. So I would love to hear your thoughts. When do you not tip individuals? Who do you tip? Who do you not tip? What percentage do you tip? Are you also kind of frustrated with the whole tipping system? In all honesty, I would rather pay higher prices and not have to worry about tipping. Like, I'd rather them bake those tips into the cost of the food. Like, if I'm gonna pay $20 for an item, I would rather you add 20% to that $20 item. So what's that extra $4? I would rather pay $24 for an item than $20, and know that that extra $4 is going to my server, and I don't have to worry about tipping. I honestly wish it was like that across the board. I wish servers and service people got paid exactly what they're worth, rather than them having to worry about tips to, subsidize their pay. I don't think it's fair to them. I don't necessarily think it's fair to the customer as well. And then think about somebody like me who loves to give these big old fat surprising tips. Well, a server might get a jerk customer, and then the server next to him might get a really good customer just by luck of the draw or just by where they were placed. So this person might get a $50 tip and have a great customer, and this other person might have a $10 tip and have jerks or bozos for customers. It's just not fair. It's like a lottery system somewhat, you know? But hey, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on tipping. What do you think protocol should be? How much do you think you should tip? Do you agree with tipping? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear. Appreciate the support. Like, share, subscribe. All right, y'all have a great day.